Join me as we dive into the 8 things that keep people poor, according to the wealth hacker, Jeff Rose. You might ask yourself, why do you always make the same money mistakes? And for a lot of people, it is just a cycle. It is a perpetual wheel that you never make progression on. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the reasons why you do stay broke. Now, the first one he explores, he calls it an IUL, which is an index universal life policy. This is insurance, and insurance is sold as something that is an alternative to retirement. Majority of us know that a retirement account and a traditional savings plan is unreplaceable. It is not really replaced. And the reason is with these indexed universal life, there is an upfront fee to it. You have to get the policy. Once you have the policy, there are a lot of things, including market protection. There are caps on how much you can have. There could be diminishing returns. There could also be fees associated with it if you are taking money out of here. Now, the second one that he breaks into is Netflix over books. Now, this is a huge one for me personally. When you start looking at streaming platforms, when you look at Netflix, when you look at Disney, when you look at Amazon, when you look at all of these, especially looking at TikTok, YouTube, a lot of entertainment platforms are used roughly 3.2 hours a day. That is incredible. When you look at 1,100 hours a year that you're putting into these, imagine if you put that into books. Imagine if you put it into reading, into watching educational videos. A lot of people just do it straight for entertainment and never see any personal or professional development, according to Jeff Rose. The third thing that keeps you broke is BMWs over Hondas. We all have places to go, and it depends when you're getting to A to B, what exactly is the transportation you're using. When you start looking at the average car prices, which run about $800 a month, it's kind of crazy. Not only that, is your investment into a vehicle is your biggest depreciating asset. It is a place that driving it off the lot, if you're buying a new vehicle, can lose roughly 20% depreciation after the first year. This is the reason why there's no really need for luxury cars. No one should be looking to buy new cars. I know they're very expensive. Even now, new cars, what Edmund said, is around $62,000 for a brand new car, which of course is very crazy. When you think about practically buying a used vehicle, one that is lightly used, let's say 10 or 15,000 miles, you can not only save you that amount of depreciation, but your payment is going to be a lot lower. With having a much lower payment, you can take that money, you can invest it, you can repay debt, you can get rid of credit cards. There are so many other things that you can do with that money. Now, the fourth one we look at, whole life over term life. Now, this, again, he goes back to the insurance part with Jeff Rose, and he talks about how whole life policies are sold to people that really don't need them. They usually target individuals that are single, don't have dependents, and don't have retirement savings or have a large portion of debt. These are the individuals that these whole life policies are sold to. Even if you're looking at insurance, looking at the cost of term life versus whole life, term life is absolutely cheaper. I'm talking like 10 times more cost efficient when it comes to insurance. And insurance overall, if you're taking the money you're paying for insurance and investing that properly, the investment will grow way past what you're seeing on the term life and also making up the cost. Now, the fifth one that we look at is DoorDash over cooking. We live in a generation, we live in a modern age where DoorDash, Grubhub, every food delivery service is super convenient, comes to your door, and really fast when you don't feel like cooking. However, when you start looking at the price tag and what it is going to cost you in the end, not only is there a big hike in the cost of food, you also add on extra delivery fees, you have tips, you have service charges. Some of them even have monthly memberships in there. If you're going to the grocery store and meal planning and meal prepping, like we do in my household, it can save you an incredible amount of money. Looking at number 6, day trading over dividends. When you start thinking of investing, this is another part that me and Jeff Rose really do agree on. Thinking big picture, knows that when people want to look at individual stocks, when they want to look at the gains, when they want to look at the next NVIDIA, on average, day traders, 90% of them are going to lose money in the long term. When you start looking, and unless you're a professional day trader who does this for a living, most people who are dabbling in it are going to end up losing money. And of course, if you're investing in the market, going into those low cost ETFs, going into those index funds can not only pay you dividends like the HD, but you can also see a tremendous amount of growth in something like the VOO. And of course, you're not losing money in there doing the day trading. Now, next one we look at, and this is a little bit more of a controversial one. And I know Dave Ramsey, there's a couple of people who have kind of talked about this, is getting a mortgage over renting. There are a lot of cases where renting makes a lot more sense when you start looking, again, kind of thinking big picture. When you look at the real estate market, when you look at the prices, it is insane how prices are. I mean, we have seen them in this area double, even over double on some new construction. And then when you couple that with, a 5 to 7% mortgage rate, it is incredibly high. If you bought something in the last 3 years, today's prices are about 2x what they were 3 years ago, which again is kind of crazy. Now, of course, this is more of a blanket statement. It doesn't apply to everyone. But when you think of the cost of home ownership, a lot of people just take the mortgage and the interest. What is my payment going to be? They don't add in the cost of insurance. They don't look at property taxes, insurance. They don't look at the repairs. They don't look at the expense of the utilities. There are so many costs that are associated with mortgages when you actually own a home versus renting a home. Now might be a good time, especially if you're single income, to rent a home for an extended amount of time or rent an apartment for an extended amount of time. That way you can save money to actually come up with a down payment. And the final one we look at is working overtime over building a side hustle. We have a side hustle right here on YouTube. If you like the content I'm putting out, definitely subscribe to the channel. But looking at this one, it's kind of interesting. When you think of a 9-to-5 job, you get paid X amount of dollars an hour. There is no way to make more money short of working more hours. That is really it. It is the time, it is the money that you're going to make from this job. You are capped on where you are. Your one income stream from being broke. That is what he really talks about. When we think of Jeff Ross and having multiple income streams, if you lose your job and you don't have a partner that has any income or supplemental income, you do not have anything. You're going to be in very quick, dire financial straits. And that, of course, is the reason you could work overtime for that one more income source. But overall, you want income that will really complement your current job. Having something, skills, just like I do with the financial education piece. I do this professionally as a financial counselor. Works incredibly well, but you're creating an insurance policy on the income that you're generating. So even if you do lose your primary job, you're not going to zero income, you're not going to anything. You will go ahead and have that side income. You could even rely on it, doing a little bit more work on that side hustle to supplement the original income that you had, or until you at least get back to work. Even if you're hit with a big expense, you can pick up some extra money, which means that you can keep everything afloat for an extended amount of time. That is going to do it for today's video. Wealth hacker Jeff Rose with 8 things that keep poor people broke. Now, let me know which one of these really made an impact, which one of these you have seen. Now, honestly, for me, the insurance part is really a big part, and also knowing the overtime side hustle. Like I said earlier, this is something that we love to do on YouTube with the educational piece, making sure that people get the information out there, that working that side hustle over the overtime can make a big difference, creating multiple streams of income. Even a majority of people, when it comes to that side hustle, have said almost 50% of Americans are working some sort of side hustle, making sure that it's beneficial, making sure that you're getting your money's worth. So again, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.